Moderna has applied for full FDA approval of its COVID-19 vaccine. It is currently only authorized for emergency use in adults in the United States. This comes after the pharmaceutical company said it will soon look into getting emergency use approval for its shot in kids between the ages of 12 and 17. Dr. Dyan Hes is the founder of Gramercy Pediatrics in New York City, and she is here with us to discuss. So, Dr. Hes, Pfizer has already applied for full FDA approval for its vaccine. How does full approval change the way the vaccine is administered?
It won't change the way it's administered. It will change the how it's recognized. So it's going to become part of the official vaccination record. It's going to be much, insurances will accept it. It's going to be part of your medical record. It's much easier. Let's say we want to mandate going forward. It's going to be mandated to get a COVID vaccine. People have been saying, oh, we're not going to take a vaccine because it's not FDA approved. Now this vaccine will be FDA approved. It'll give it much more credibility.
The CDC has updated its guidance for summer camps, and here's how it goes. Fully vaccinated children can ditch their masks when outdoors and indoors, while kids who have not gotten the vaccine, well, they still have to keep their masks on all the time and maintain social distancing. I'm curious about your take on this because, I mean, my knowledge of summer camp is you have kids of different ages kind of mixing. It just seems like that guidance is going to make things really complicated for camp counselors.
So, you know how I always say this was a golden age of medicine, how we developed a vaccine? I think our mask policies have been the exact opposite, especially for children. I have said all along that children are not the driving factor of this pandemic, and this science has proven it. There is no reason that children under the age of 12 need to be wearing a mask anymore. Adults can be vaccinated. There's almost no reason, like literally no reason, that you cannot be vaccinated at this point. There's 3 different vaccines on the market. There's more coming to market. And there's almost no contraindication except a very rare allergy to polyethylene glycol not to get Pfizer, but you can still get a Johnson & Johnson. So camps should be open with kids without masks. And I feel like also going back to school, they should not be wearing masks. The UK has stopped mask usage. Israel has stopped mask usage in children. The children are not the driving force. If the adults are vaccinated, the children will be fine. And we know that even the children who are getting COVID are not getting sick like the adults. And we see the same number over a 17-month pandemic of deaths from COVID as we do from flu. Flu probably has more in previous seasons, yet we don't make kids wear masks for flu during the year.
So most states require kids to have parental consent before getting a COVID vaccine. This has left hundreds of thousands of U.S. foster children and unaccompanied migrant teens unvaccinated. It's something that doesn't get a lot of headline play, but I'm glad we're talking about it. So how important is it, A, to get these children vaccinated, and how could the full FDA approval of the Pfizer shot change the way that we do or don't administer to children who are in foster homes and migrant children?
So for these children, I actually think the vaccine is particularly important because they live in crowded housing, whether they're still in camps in Texas or on the border, or they're living in a foster home where we know the foster home conditions are not great and they're usually crowded with many children. These children should be getting the vaccine. Now, I just read an article that you sent me this morning that we shouldn't be coercing anybody, but I think that these families, especially the migrant families, came to the U.S. for a better life. And the truth is most immigrants want vaccines. In their country, they will walk 10 miles with their child on their back to get their child vaccinated. So I think they came to this country and their dream is for their children to be healthy. And I think these children should all be entitled without needing parental consent or guardian consent.
Can we talk about the summer slide, which is, you know, for if you're not a parent, you don't know, it's when basically the kids sort of slip behind, lose of some of what they learned during the school year over the summer. Study found that half of American students in grades 1 through 6 lost 39% of their school year gains during the summer. This year, I can't even imagine, because we know there are a ton of kids who are probably already behind because of all the disruptions that they've had in school and the challenge of remote learning. Any advice for parents in order to help them minimize any losses or further losses that their kids might suffer? I know I've tried to kind of tackle the summer slide, which usually means doing homework in the summertime, which makes me the most popular parent. Not.
I think the most important thing is trying not to use electronics. So no reading books on a screen, no doing math on a screen, no tracing letters on an iPad. Everything should be done in paper because these kids cannot look at a screen, cannot be in front of a screen. They're just burnt out from screen time. But I think you can incorporate it, like reading a book. Let's go to the library and pick out a book that we can read together. Or let's get it. I used to take my kids to the 99-cent store and get those tracing books from like the 1970s. Let's trace our letters. Let's pick one article from the newspaper every day that we're going to read together. There's so many ways to be creative, and doing art projects. For a 4-year-old, if you learn how to, draw a square, that's what you should be doing. If you're learning your letters, it doesn't have to be like a formal, like we're going to talk about history today, and today we're going to do biology. But like teaching them from life, because these kids cannot be sitting on a screen anymore. Even if you're by the pool, let's say, okay, we're going to take a 15-minute break now while we're going to sit in the shade and we're going to do our shapes, or we're going to learn our colors. There's very easy ways. When you're going for a walk in a stroller, you can say, what color is this flower? What color is that tree? Let's say, how do we spell it? There's so many ways to be a creative teacher. I just don't think these kids should be sitting in front of a screen anymore.
Yeah, that's really good advice. Dr. Dyan Hes, thank you so much.
Thanks.